Hey there, Gemini. Welcome back to your tarot by Divine Nudges. At least I hope you are a returning viewer. If not, let's get that going. Let's get you to become a returning viewer by hitting the subscribe button, especially if the reading resonates. Gemini, I am doing a quick vibe check-in, a quick energy check-in. I try to do this every single month. Last month's energy check-in was about what is blocking you right now. Okay, that's what I did for each of the signs. I want to balance that out a little bit by looking into what it is that Gemini is getting right. What are you getting right? What are you doing right? Okay. Spiritual hygiene requires us to take inventory periodically so that we can assure that we are not veering too far off of the intended path. Okay, so Spirit, what is Gemini getting right? Ooh, Gemini, you are no longer allowing yourself to be governed by traditional norms, by antiquated norms. Okay, some of you are making up your own rules for your family, okay? Making up your own rules for your career, making up your own rules as to how you want to live life. You are marching to the beat of your own drums, okay? For some of you, there are people who will say, well, this is how we've always done it. Gemini, you're saying, you're challenging the status quo right now. You're saying, well, what we've always done is no longer working. It is now outdated. Okay. And some of you are doing this in terms of spirituality. Some of you are doing this in terms of authority and leadership as well. Okay. In all governing areas of life, you're looking at things differently. And you're taking inventory of what still works and what doesn't. So good for you. What else is Gemini getting right? Yeah. Here we have the past. So, yeah, this could have a lot to do with your family, your childhood, your upbringing, okay, where you're making these changes and you're realizing that, there may be some toxic patterns, whether it's mindsets or behaviors or attitudes that you adopted as a child that you realize that in your adulthood they just weren't wrong, and you're starting to question it, like, why am I still doing this? I don't I don't have to anymore. I really don't have to anymore. So you're looking at what you're handing off to your children, what you're handing off to those who are coming after you, and you want to make it a little bit lighter for them. You want to set a different example for them. And a lot of it is coming from a place where you want them to know um, that they can also do things their way. They can use their creativity. They don't have to repeat cycles of tradition unless it resonates with them, because that's always, wow, another major arcana here. So we have the world, okay? Um, so again, cycles, right? The world card is really like the end of a cycle, so closing out a cycle. Yeah. A lot of you are saying this toxic pattern ends with me. It will not be passed down to my offspring or to any of the younger people in my family or any younger people that I know. I will not be handing these toxic patterns, these outdated patterns or mindsets. Okay, so a lot of you are saying this stops here, this ends with me, and this could be anything. For some of you, you are teaching yourself, because there are things that you have to relearn as well, how to recognize your own victories and your own successes. Some of you didn't get the opportunity to do that as children and when you were younger. Some of you may feel like you weren't able to get properly educated when you were younger. Some of you feel like you didn't have certain opportunities when you were younger. And You may even be considering if you can go ahead and go for those opportunities now. And here we have the King of Wands. So this is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. Okay. This is the energy of the entrepreneurial mind and spirit. Okay. This is the energy of the influencer, of fame. Some of you may even be feeling as though you looked up to famous people in your childhood that you're realizing um, that they weren't all that you thought that they were cracked up to be. Yeah, here we go. The hangman in the reverse. This is a different perspective of how you were leading your life. Who is your leader? You know, what you consider authority, what you consider influence, what you consider leadership. A lot of you are taking a really close look and you're making changes accordingly. You're taking action accordingly. Okay, a lot of you are feeling looking to feel self-empowered, and so you're standing on business, as we say nowadays. You're standing on business, you're standing in your power, you're taking control of your own energy, your own mindset, your own attitudes, your own belief. You are self-empowering yourself right now, and that's a beautiful thing, Gemini. And your focus on self-empowerment is unlearning things that you were taught in your childhood, and letting go of outdated norms. Okay, so this is what's working for you right now, Gemini. This is what you're getting right. Taking these steps are going to manifest some really positive results for you. Yeah, I'm also hearing that you are, even for some of you, this has a lot to do with your spirituality and who you consider to be spiritual leaders for you now. You feel as if though you have a much higher level of consciousness that maybe those who came before you did not have, and so you're infusing that consciousness, that divine consciousness, that godly consciousness, and you're using it in a different way than it was used in the past. But yeah, some of you are looking towards new leaders. Some of you may be leaving your churches and going through to new spiritual communities. But a lot of you are just looking at the world differently. Okay. um some of you may feel like you're having some sort of a rebirth or reawakening as of late. For some of you, it's because of a cycle that you just closed out with a family or some sort of a situation. Some of you are learning things at work. Some of you feel like, oh, okay, maybe I I've invested so much of my time and my energy into work. And some of you are looking at that differently. So, yeah, it's just a higher perspective, a different perspective. You're starting to see the world differently. And this is first starting in your inner world, and it's going to extend to your outer world. And I see a lot of good changes happening from this, okay? Because ultimately, what you're doing is you're releasing yourself from the bonds of old ways of thinking that were really binding. They really didn't benefit you. You thought that there was only one way you could succeed. You thought that there was only one way you could live, and you're realizing and you're learning that that's just not true. So good for you, Gemini. Okay. I'm going to end the reading here. I just wanted to make this quick. Like I said, there is the reading from last month where the topic was what is blocking you right now. I highly recommend, if you haven't checked that out, that you go back and check it out. Because this is all a part of spiritual hygiene, as I said at the beginning of this reading, and just making sure that we're staying on track with our higher purpose and with the things that bring us peace, inner balance, equilibrium, and fulfillment. Okay. So, we have to both know what's blocking us and we have to know what we're doing right. Okay. So, to get the full and balanced picture, I definitely recommend you go back and check that out. Gemini, please like, share, comment, subscribe below if this resonated with you and if you want to hear from me again. Okay. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye now.